Over the past 10 years, I've had my fair share of injuries as a runner, and fortunately, I've learned a lot from them in order to do crazy things like running 10 marathons in 10 days, setting course records at ultra races. I have 300 milers under my belt so far. And so I want to give you the three best strength exercises that I think every runner should do. I'm not going to make you wait the whole video, so I'm going to say them right now. Feel free to click off. If you want to hear more about why and how to do some of these things, stick around. So those three strength training exercises I believe every runner should do is one, tibialis curls. I think every runner should be doing planks, and I think every runner should be doing heavy squats, and emphasis on heavy. And I want to talk a little bit about why. I mean, as every runner goes through, I think we all have like injuries and things we have to deal with. And one in particular I've struggled with is runner's knee. And there's a lot of different opinions on this. And I personally actually think runner's knee is not really an injury issue in most situations. I think it's either a lack of mobility or a lack of strength. And I learned this when I had runner's knee after running a 100-mile race. And I didn't have to take any time off. I did lessen my volume as I was working on this, but as I started looking to what I could do, I found that tibialis raises or curls, however you want to say it, really helped a lot. So let me explain what that is. Tibialis raises or curls is like the shin muscle, like right next to the shin bone, that's your tibialis muscle. And I would basically take either a kettlebell or a 2.5 pound plate, and I would put that around my big toe. So you don't need a lot of weight. And I mean, either you can just sit in a chair or hang your leg off like a block or like a stool or anything really, and you just curl that. So again, this is the foot. You have the kettlebell around your toes, and you just go up and down, and you'll feel a burn. And I found that this has helped me through runner's knee. Obviously, there can be different reasons why that's caused for people, but I think a big part of it is a lack of strength. Now, be careful not to overdo it. This is something you only really need to do once a week, I believe, and so I do this on one of my light leg days, and it's kept me injury-free for a very long time. The second exercise I think every runner should be doing is planks, and I think it's pretty obvious. This is just a great core exercise, and as you get later into race, you're going to be fatigued, or you might hunch over and it's not efficient, proper form. And so planking is really great for just building that core up. I think it's funny, I've been planking for 2-3 years in the gym, and it just seems like it never gets easier. But I know it's working, and I've noticed a difference in my ability to just stand up straight or run with a, very like tall, leaning forward type of posture to be efficient. So I think planking's great. The way I do planks is I do 2 sets back to back of what I'm about to explain. So what I do is I do a minute plank, and then I go on my side for 15 seconds, the side plank, and then I go on the other side for 15 seconds, and then I do another minute plank, and then on my side 15 seconds, on my other side 15 seconds, and this is a killer, and there's no rest in between, so I do that back to back, and then I have a 30-second rest period, and I repeat that. So I mean, it's 4 minutes of regular planking and a couple minutes each side, and it is plenty. it is just enough for my core. I think I do a lot of hanging leg raises, but planks I just think are one of the best exercises for runners. And then the last exercise I wanted to talk about is just heavy squats, and I'm a massive believer in this, and it's for a couple of reasons. One, I think the biggest thing is strength, right? Especially as you start to get into the ultra game, or even just, half marathons. Being able to build strength in the quads is really important, because obviously you're going to be blowing those up, especially in a race where maybe you have a lot of downhill. You're going to blast the quads if you're trying to run fast or PR, and so I'm a big believer in building that strength in the quads, and I think like heavy squats is really important. Now that being said, if you can't have good form, I would be doing lighter weight squats, right? One of the things that pissed me off the most is where you see people like I wish I had like a video or a picture, but they just like go like 3 inches down with their squat. And I'm a big believer in squatting like ass to grass, meaning your knees are over your toes and you are as, deep down in the squat as you can possibly get. This takes some time, it takes some mobility work, it takes patience, it takes squatting maybe less heavier than you could, but with this, deep squat and it being heavy is going to help you with a couple of things. It's going to help you with your range of motion, and I just think it just makes you stronger as a runner. So, I mean, I'm a big believer in squatting heavy, and heavy is obviously subjective to where you are at. I think a week ago, did about 3 sets of 7 at like 190 pounds. And one of my goals as an athlete in general is to outlift the runners and outrun the lifters. So I definitely think I'm getting there for the most part. I think that's generally like 200 plus pounds is pretty heavy. It's nothing crazy. It's not a world record, but like as a runner, that's something I've had to work for. And when you're under 200 pounds, it feels pretty heavy. So I think heavy squats are really good for us as runners. I don't think you need to do a lot of volume because I'm not trying to take away from my running. I'm just trying to add. So I just do 3 sets of anywhere from 5 to maybe 12 reps, and that's plenty, especially if it's heavy. So those are the 3 exercises I think every runner should implement. It's definitely helped me stay injury free and succeed in the sport a little bit. If you want more tips or stories like this when it comes to running, or especially when it comes to ultras, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you on the trails sometime soon.